Hi Taurus, welcome to your March 2017 general tarot reading. It's Raina here. So before I begin, I just wanted to say a few things. First of all, because YouTube has changed its notification policy regarding comments, I am, putting this in front of all my videos to let you know that sometimes I have not been reading your comments right away, because not only are they making it more convoluted in getting your comments, getting to get to your comments without clicking on the video, which I don't like to do, but also they are holding comments as spam that really don't need to be in spam. So, I sometimes get some comments that, I'm like, why is this in spam? And it's like, I never have seen it, for days or maybe even a week, because I'm not always checking those things. So just know that eventually I might see your comment, but because the time frame has kind of been a long time, sometimes I'm not necessarily responding, or I mean to and I forget to, but I thank you for them. The other thing that I wanted to tell you is a few things that are happening in March for you. And one of the biggies is the fact that your ruler, which is Venus, is going retrograde. And this only happens every year and a half, so it's not like some of the other planets that are retrograding several times a year. Or, I don't know how often Jupiter retrogrades. Now, for instance, right now we have Jupiter retrograding. And so that's going to be until June. It started a couple weeks ago. And so that's kind of a long retrograde, several months. And when Mercury retrogrades, it's only for 3.5 weeks. This Venus retrograde will be from March 4th until about April 15th. So what can we call that? About 5 weeks? Or 5.5 weeks. And it starts out at 13 degrees of Aries and goes into like 26 Pisces. And this involves your 12th house, that's Aries, and then your 11th house of Pisces. What this can mean with Venus being in those two houses is that you could be dealing with a clandestine lover. The 12th house is a house of secrets and also of past life or karmic relationships, and that clandestine lover may be one and the same, for all I know. But you may be listening to this in February and saying, I don't have a lover that I'm sneaking around with. Well, maybe that is because it's not March yet. I don't know. And of course, this is a general reading. But it's kind of fun just to talk about these things. And then it goes into your 11th house of hopes and wishes and friendships. It may be a situation, if we tie these two houses together, because the 11th house can be your goals. And so you may decide that you are doing something that is not getting you closer to where you want to be goal-wise. Maybe you're saying, I'm just spinning my wheels with this person. They claim that they're going to get divorced and they never do. And so by the end of the transit, you've decided, I'm done with this person, because I have these dreams of mine that I want to make happen. And this person is kind of putting a wedge between me and my dreams, because I'm waiting around for them. And, they show no signs that they're going to do anything about it. So the other thing that's happening is we're having a full moon on March 12th in Virgo. What's great about that is Virgo is a sister earth sign. So it's a very harmonious aspect with Taurus. It's a trine. And it's in your 5th house of romance. So although sometimes full moons can bring endings to whatever subject matter is connected to a particular house, in this case, romance, creative projects, hobbies, children. It can bring fruition. It can bring abundance. It's a very fertile time because the fifth house can be conception, conceiving children. So it can go either way, you could say. It's a very powerful time, the full moon. And, you know, I wish that people would not only speak of endings, because from what I understand, and I am not a pagan or anything like that, but it's a very, I think they consider people that are really following the full and new moons, consider it to be the most potent time. So any kind of thing that you want to manifest at the full moon, it seems like that would be a great time. And then at the end of the month, we have a new moon in Aries. And this is right after the beginning of the astrological new year on the 20th of March. On the 27th, exactly 1 week later, we have this new moon in Aries. So the first new moon of the astrological new year, that 12th house again for you. So the 12th house is a house of mystical happenings as well. So that could be you being very interested in starting something related to, you know, a meditation practice, or just any kind of mystical practice that interests you. It would be a good time for that, actually. But just remember, too, that the period of time, the month before your birthday, or if Taurus is your rising sign, that a month before your rising sign, that can be a time when you feel like you're dragging. So you may not feel like, you know, you'll probably feel more like starting up things, you know, once you have your birthday or once the sun crosses over your ascendant. And so it can be a more subdued time, even though it's a new moon period. So just talking about that, or kind of bringing that up. So as you can see, I've already laid out the cards because I'm actually doing this reading over again. I don't know what happened to the memory disk that I actually recorded it on, but that's okay because it was in 2 parts. So I think this will make it easier to upload. So basically, what I kind of gathered, because this is not pertaining to one topic versus another, it can be anything. I feel that it literally can be either work or your love life. I mean, I can see both scenarios very clearly. At the heart of the matter, we have the Justice card, a major arcana card. Now, this card can connect to the sign of Libra, which is another sign besides Taurus that is ruled by Venus, an air sign. And I actually did get the higher message as a Knight of Swords, so that's another air sign. But the Justice card is about fairness, but also about clarity of, you know, seeing things as they really are. And I feel like, you know, the overarching theme in many cases can be a literal court case. So in love readings, for instance, this could talk about legal decisions or legal matters. Now, it doesn't have to be with divorce. I should specify that. You know, maybe you're dealing with an inheritance matter, or maybe you're dealing with a custody battle. Actually, now that I think about it, it could be because we have as the past position, we have the King of Wands. This can be the other party, and this could be, for a woman, this could be the father of the child. And so maybe you're battling that person. for custody of the child, or, you know, a divorce situation. In any kind of, if that does not pertain to you, it could be on the job front, dealing with somebody who was, this was, you know, if you want to talk about careers, this could be anything from sales people, marketing, what was the other things they said? Public speakers, even people in the clergy that are like evangelists. But this could be some kind of a dealing with this person. If this is on the job, you may have had to have a mediator with a boss. This is a very masculine card. The wands relate to fire, and it's a very enterprising, you know, entrepreneurial, assertive, or even downright aggressive situation, or person, I should say. And you know, it's kind of weird because I don't see this person as a bad person. So why you are, it could be just a fire sign individual, an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, who you were involved with. Maybe that was your former partner that you know, have legal things, unless you were with a fire sign and now you're with a Libra. I don't know. But, you know, to tell you the truth, it could be that you have recently, you know, gone into a certain job, and that person who is in charge has actually been a good influence, a kind of like an advocate for you in a way. That could be it as well. But I don't see that person as a negative. Even if it was a split, it could simply be that you're totally different types of people. And like we have here as the situation currently, we have the Three of Pentacles. And this is you being very competent at what you do and being very professional. Oh yeah, you know, one thing I forgot to say is that the King of Wands could be a facet of you. Taurus is an earth sign, as you obviously know, but it's also a fixed sign. This is a card of somebody who is improving their skills, maybe even getting certification for something, but they're doing like a very thorough job. And this is specifically connected to the workplace, because it's, when you have pentacles, a lot of times it's a practical matter. So, you know, career matters, money making, things like that. The King of Wands is somebody who is actually a very self-starter, self-starting kind of a person. They may own their own business. It's not, I don't think it's typical for the King of Wands to be somebody who is working for somebody else. They tend to be very much their own people, and they have their own ways of doing things, and they don't really like to take orders, I would say. There's a virility, there's a confidence, a strong sense of confidence that oozes from this personality. But this could be a facet of you. Now, it could be you got divorced and all of a sudden you have this newfound confidence. And actually, you know, it might be the other way around, because the heart of the matter is the Justice card. So that sounds like that was something recent. And it was because you had that sense of confidence that you were able to do this. And understand, too, that it doesn't have to be literally that you went into a courtroom and got divorced. It might simply be that you stood up for yourself and said you're not being fair. And in the workplace, that could be in terms of compensation, in terms of how many hours you have to work, things like that. Now, interestingly, as a higher message, we get the Knight of Swords. So this is a spiritual message. So it's looking at it from a different angle. The Knight of Swords represents things happening all of a sudden. It could be saying, don't rest on your laurels too long, because you're going to have another situation arise that you're going to have to, in the workplace today, there is a lot of coming and going, and that's what this card represents. And, there are many reasons for it, but it's really probably orchestrated to be that way because it's to the benefit of the employers to create a lot of, whereas before they tried to, have people commit to them so they could have them as workers for 40 years. And now they actually, it seems like they want the opposite so that they can, they can get rid of people if they ask for too much money, if they do so. So there's a lot of that flux happening. And this card may be saying to you on the spiritual level, don't ever let down your guard in terms of thinking that everything is settled, because this is a card of, suddenly having to, make a move. And you're kind of like the person, it's like once you get settled, you don't want to have to get back up again. But this could be a person that you are dealing with right now who is very sarcastic. And this person may be kind of making your life unpleasant in some way, like in the workplace. Somebody who is, maybe kind of cutting you to shreds, so to speak. Or, making little snarky comments on the side. In your private life, a person who is doing this, literally, again, maybe it is a Libra person since the Justice card, but it could be also a Gemini, which Geminis can exhibit that type of behavior, the shadow aspect of it at least, or Aquarius. And as a spiritual message, it may be saying, maybe this is somebody that you're seeing. Maybe you've gotten divorced and you're seeing somebody else, and this person is like this. I think it's fair to say that this person, when you have knights, sometimes they're immature. They may be grown, but they're still emotionally immature. They may hide behind their sharp tongue. They may use it as a weapon. Even in the upright position, they may be very intelligent, but they're kind of misusing that intelligence to kind of keep people at bay, so to speak. And this could be a lawyer that is going to be, that you have to deal with. And as a spiritual message, it may be kind of saying heads up, because it might be saying that maybe this person is somebody to watch. Maybe that person could use information against you. Who knows? Because the challenge card is the Seven of Wands in reverse. So this is about letting down, feeling defeated by some situation. And so, for instance, if let's say you got a job and somebody is, and you even have a boss who's in your corner, and then you have an employee who's treating you like crap, and you're like, God, can't I ever, have everything align? It's like if it isn't one thing, it's another. And it can feel so frustrating, because it's like you really have a lot of things going for you, but it's like this one area is a little bit where things are kind of misaligned. And all it takes is one person in a workplace to kind of make it feel not as welcoming, and it can be very, I don't know, you know how it is. And Taurus is a sign that chooses peace a lot of times. You're not like on the warpath. The Knight of Swords individual may be on the warpath, and it could be, you know, for many reasons why they're like that. But they could be, you know, very competitive and, I don't know, restless. There's a restlessness. You have to, you know, I think as a spiritual message, watch out for restlessness yourself, because you may be feeling that way also. What is coming in, or for some people this may be your advice, is the Moon card. This could be suggesting that you have hidden enemies, and this is what I was talking about before. Maybe that Knight of Swords person isn't somebody that you are aware of doing those behaviors, like cutting you to shreds. Maybe they're doing it behind your back. Maybe you're even thinking that this person is trustworthy. Maybe that's why it's a higher message. Personally, there could be self-deception going on. You may be you may have left the father of your child. Maybe you left them for an earth sign, for a Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo individual. And you did it, and you weren't doing it maybe for the right reasons. Maybe you were just, maybe the Nine of Swords is a facet of you. Maybe you were being too hasty and too restless about it for whatever reason. For some people, you know, sometimes Taurus, you know, the worst thing that somebody can do to you is to rush you to, you know, because, and I have Taurus rising, so I can say this because you have your own timing. If you were involved with an Aries person specifically, you may have noticed that they were very impatient and that they thought you were too slow. And that might have led you to feel irritated by their behavior. And maybe you made a rash decision. And I do feel that though the fire sign individual may not be, because it's showing up as a challenge position, so it's possible that that person wasn't right for you anyhow. Maybe, you know, the Knight of Swords as a spiritual situation is trying to show you that your restlessness, maybe you've been a little bit fickle, and that's not like Taurus, but everybody has their days, their bad days, where they, you know, they kind of like the Moon card. It's saying, you know, you may be deceiving yourself. You may be making decisions based on a pipe dream, you know. Are you doing things recently that are leading you? You know, the Three of Pentacles is a very productive card, and it's a card of like a lot of skill that's being displayed. And maybe you're doing well in your work, but maybe your private life is in shambles, and that's what it's showing. What I do see as the outcome is, you know, inevitable change. But this can be a purification. If you have been in situations that have been less than ideal, that you really haven't wanted to be in, but I mean that you may have felt like you just wandered into situations. Maybe you didn't wander into them, but maybe you just feel like you did. Then this card is kind of like symbolizing that you are in a period of transition, and you are going to be stepping into a whole new reality. And you know, you are the The advice in that kind of situation is to allow things to happen as they will, to unfold as they will, not to try to keep something from not happening. And you should be really good if you do so. Now, this could involve a Scorpio. Scorpio is your opposite sign. So that rules the 7th house of marriage. So if we look at it that way, if it's not an actual Scorpio person, maybe it's saying death to a marriage. Death to a marriage. Maybe you have started the procedure, wasn't sure, and you kind of realize, yes, I have to do this. You talk to a lawyer, you know, you've gotten it going, and now you realize for some reason, maybe during the Venus retrograde, all of this stuff gets regurgitated, and you're able to make that decision. In a work situation, it's kind of an unusual set of cards. Something is being kept from you, or somebody is trying to outmaneuver you, perhaps. You may have just started somewhere. That's what I'm getting the feeling for some of you, that you just accepted a job and everything seemed to be going great, and then all of a sudden there's this fly in the ointment, you know, in the persona of a Knight of Swords individual who is not going to allow you to do your thing. They're not going to make it easy for you, in other words. And so there might be some kind of backroom dealings, or they're trying to, I don't know, wear down that King of Wands and try to get that boss against you. To try to get that, you know, they may feel threatened. Maybe they think that you really bonded with the boss, and they don't like that. They don't appreciate that. Maybe they've been there longer than you, and they feel this sense of like seniority, and they feel like, why didn't you pick me? Why did you pick this person who just came on the scene? And, you know, people like that don't understand that even though they may have every reason in the world to be upset about that, the answer is not to try to take down the person. So it could be, but you know, the Death card points to a purging. So it could be that they purge the bad actors from your workplace. You know, that could be it as well. And maybe you are going to have a smoother sailing ahead. So anyway, Taurus, I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great March. Bye.